Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Cohen. Parents and students often ask me if it's better to take the SAT or the ACT. Well, for colleges, either test is valid. It used to be true that, some colleges preferred one test over the other. Um, but nowadays it's very different. All colleges openly accept both tests equally and weigh them equally. Some people will try to study for both tests, and generally speaking, that's not the best plan because really doing well on either test for most students is going to take a lot of hard work and preparation. So, a lot of practice over a number of months. Um, there's some crossover between both tests, but there's still a lot you have to do individually for each test. So if you take both, you're nearly doubling the amount of test prep you're doing. And I think that that time you're spending on the second test would be really better spent um, working on your extracurriculars, your academics, all those other things that are going to go into your college applications and that colleges really care about because they do care about a lot more than just your test score. Okay, so which test now do you pick? The short answer, take a practice test of each. You can find these for free online. Make sure it's a real test, not one written by like a test prep company. On the College Board's website and on the ACT website, you can find downloadable PDFs of real SAT and ACTs. Take one of each, timed, and then compare your scores. See how you did. Um, there's something called the SAT ACT concordance table, and it will show you what if you took the SAT, what the equivalent ACT score is, and vice versa. You can get this for free online. Just Google SAT ACT concordance table. It's on a lot of websites. Um, and if you do significantly better on one test, that's probably the test you're going to want to prepare for. You should also think about how much you liked each test. Um, that probably seems a little counterintuitive, but if you took one of the tests and hated it, and the other one you loved and thought was really fun, it was like a game, you want to do more, that should also weigh into your decision as to which test to take. Because the more you enjoy the process of working on the tests and treat it like a game, which it can be, and it becomes fun, the more work you're likely to do, and the better the score you're going to end up with. Okay, so here are the biggest differences between the tests that tend to affect scores. Uh, Number one, the SAT tests vocab, tough, advanced vocabulary. The ACT doesn't. There's no vocab. There may be one kind of challenging word in one of the passages on the ACT, but that's it. So if you're really good at vocab, the SAT may work to your advantage. If you hate vocab, you really struggle with it, you may want to think about taking the ACT. Number two, timing is really different on the tests. Um, the ACT, it's almost speeded. In other words, you have a little bit less time than you need to complete the work. So you have to move really quickly. You just have to knock out question after question. Um, if you struggle with timing, the ACT might not be your best bet. The SAT, it's not like there is a time limit. It's not like you have unlimited time, but you have much more time to do the question. The SAT is really like a reasoning test. It goes back to its roots as being, basically like an IQ test back in the day. So it's the questions are like puzzles, and they take some time, and you have to, figure out a solution, which takes a number of steps. Um, so they're not like the problems you see in school, most likely. Um, the ACT, the problems are going to be like what you see in school. Can you do this procedure? Do you know the rules for logarithms? Can you multiply matrices? Um, pretty straightforward. So if you like puzzles and logical reasoning, um, you may prefer the SAT. Okay, so there's a bit of a trade-off though. Stuff on the content on the ACT is more straightforward than on the SAT, but it's a little bit more advanced. And I'm mainly talking about math. So there's a lot more Algebra 2 on the ACT than the SAT. So you need to know logs, how to multiply matrices. But the problems aren't that tough or complex. But you need to know kind of the basics about some Algebra 2 topics that you don't need to know on the SAT. And there's also trigonometry on the ACT. Okay, the last major difference that tends to really impact scores is that the ACT has a science section. Now, you don't need to be really good in science in school to do well on this. The ACT doesn't test your knowledge of science. It doesn't really ask you about what you've learned in biology, chemistry. What it does is it presents you with scientific data. It describes an experiment someone ran, and it shows you a chart with the results, and it asks you questions based on the data. So if you're good with charts and graphs and quickly processing data and extrapolating from it, that's really gonna help you on the ACT. If you really struggle with that, the ACT might be more difficult. If you found this video helpful, you can subscribe to our channel for more videos like it.